Welcome to the Cincy Postcast. I'm Kevin Wallace, and before we get started with today's episode, I get to tell you about our good friends over at Streetside Brewery. I got to tell you, we've been doing this Cincinnati bucket list challenge, been exploring different parts of the city, checking things out, and there is nothing that hits quite like going back to home base, okay? You can check things out, explore, find new things, but my God, there is something about Streetside Brewery that is just so nice. They are so sweet. They have such good employees, really, really nice people, award-winning beer, an amazing facility, great food. Like, it is so nice. If you are looking for something to add to the bucket list, maybe you want to play it a little hard mode here, go to Streetside. Make an evening of the East End, Columbia, Tusculum. Some good stuff. There's some good food, okay? The local post is right there. Grab a brew over at Streetside. Head on over there. You can have a great time. It is a really, really cool spot. I cannot recommend them enough. So please go check out our friends over at Streetside. They are good at what they do, and they will take care of you. So a huge thank you to Streetside for sponsoring this episode and every episode of the Cincy Postcast. And on today's episode, well, okay, we're in a tough spot of the season, all right? This is going to be a little tough. There's not a whole lot going on. And yet, we found stuff to talk about, okay? You're going to have to sit through. You don't have to sit through. There are always timestamps in the description of episodes, okay? We go a little off the rails at the beginning. We eventually come back around to FC Cincinnati. There's plenty to talk about with players going out on loan, Brenner giving interviews, Chris Albright giving interviews. There's lots to dissect, lots to pick at. Check it out. It's all in your international break version of the postcast. Joining me to talk about all of that and more, I'm joined
there's all of that. Look, I know you record the cold open later after we're done with the episode. There can't possibly be that much in the open. It's going to be a minute and a half to 2 minutes of talking about Streetside.
Yes.
And then the cold open is like, we are obligated to do this show, so here you go.
There's not a whole lot of FC Cincinnati news at the moment. We're 2 weeks away from the next competitive game. Last time the team was out, it didn't look great. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I was thinking about this earlier today. Is this the best timed FIFA international window or the worst timed FIFA international window? And I'm not talking about this year specifically. I'm just talking about that. It is hilarious to me that soccer, MLS, it is a sport that, it's gained a foothold. I think we can be a little less precious about how we treat MLS. I was thinking about this the other day when they were talking about TV viewers. Don Garber was giving some comments about that. And people were like, well, the numbers must be bad. It's like, I don't care, man. Like, I'm past the point where I'm worried the league is going to die. It's fine. Like, obviously, it's here to stay. People are investing lots of money in stadiums. Apple is putting it on TV. I'm past the point in my life where I'm like getting petrified that they might cancel my favorite show. Like, that's right. We don't need to be that way. But I was thinking about, like, talk about the MLS getting done no favors, that the league goes on break for NFL opening weekend. That just, it gives everybody an opportunity to, hey, remember this other sport that everyone loves a lot more? Hey, watch that instead. Like,
it really is.
Or is that good? Man. Is that good that, like, no one would be watching MLS this weekend anyway? So it's a good time for the league to go away as we all get our fix in of the National Football League.
I mean, this is part of the thought process behind switching to the alternative calendar, I'll call it.
Yeah.
Is
how dare you? It's the winter schedule. Don't try to soft sell this.
No, it's schedule change. Okay.
Right.
But the like the idea is that like this is supposed to be the most hype time for the regular season, and it is. Like the Shield race is good and things are getting feisty, and yeah, we have to contend with these FIFA breaks, which are pre-planned 4, 6, 8 years in advance, and you have the NFL, the behemoth, and college football for what that's worth as well. Some of these college towns, college-ish towns, especially down south, they start to look a little weaker in the crowds in Tennessee and Georgia and North Carolina when college football starts up. Austin, yeah. Columbus, dare I say?
It's I understand the idea of the schedule change, but man, like the international break won't go away. It will just be that now this will be like in week 3 or week 4 of the MLS season, as opposed to
which is what the Premier League deals with, though, right? Like,
no, the Premier League doesn't deal with anything like this. There's no sport over in England that captures the attention of everyone else in the country when the Premier League is off for a week. People just do whatever it is British people do on a weekend when there's no football.
I'd love to think that like the NFL London game is causing an existential dread in the Premier League. No, I just meant in the sense that their season just got started and they have to immediately put it on pause for the international break.
It reminds you, as always, that the international break in the international system is a dumb system, and these teams are being paid by clubs, and the livelihood of the game is being paid by clubs, and yet clubs are expected to play second banana whenever the United States men's national team needs to schedule a cash grab friendly against some team that's going to dog walk it.
Yeah, there is that. But I at least in terms of FC Cincinnati, this is a very well-timed international break, I will say.
Yeah, we're lucking out here a little bit because we, as has been documented on the postcast over the last several weeks, we're kind of limping into the break here, and we've kind of limped. And I don't know about you. A lot of these breaks, I'm jonesing for more. On this break, I'm very happy and very excited to take a week away from FC Cincinnati so we can all think about what we've done separately and apart from one another.
Yes. And I'm also, this is so unfair to this kid, and he might not play a minute. I personally have a lot of hopes and dreams riding on Samuel Guidi. And so if we can just get past his...
Is he here? Do we know where Samuel Guidi is?
He will be playing for the Slovakian U21s. So
I'm not convinced this guy's a real person.
We had a whole Euro scout on to talk about him.
I understand that, but we've also joked in the past that it would be really funny to try and get booked on a podcast talking about the MLS Super Draft and just make up a player playing for Central Michigan.
Damn it,
and just see if we can get somebody talking about him.
Okay, it's possible that we've been completely and utterly catfished with Samuel Guidi here.
Because at this point, I don't have any evidence he's a real person. I don't. This could be a Ponzi scheme in order to divest the club of cryptocurrency at this point. It's yes, your grandson has been arrested and Samuel Guidi is going to bail him out of prison. I just need you to send me 2 Bitcoins in order to make this happen.
I'm not going to remember this player's name, but there's a really great story in Brazilian football of a guy.
Ooh, I remember the story. His name's Clayton.
No, the difference is Clayton could actually get on the field. No, this guy spent 20 years as a professional soccer player without ever playing a minute by just convincing everybody he was really good, and then always being hurt, or if he did show up in a game, immediately get a red card or something like that. And awesome. Slowly but surely, the sporting directors and the coaches would figure out that hey, this guy is just here to party and he's best friends with all the players. I've been made the fool, so that they would then sell him to another team so that they didn't look like the idiot. And it just slowly but surely he accumulated teams and sporting directors that had to also keep his secret, or else they would look stupid too.
I was about to say, this couldn't, if Samuel Guidi wasn't real, this can't be the first fake player that's ever been transferred in soccer, right? There has to have been stories about, you bought someone that doesn't exist. And you know, like when like you send the money to the club that allegedly has the player, and then like his plane goes down under mysterious circumstances in like the Amazon. And it's like, wouldn't you know it? It was just him and the pilot, and they were never seen or heard from again. It's like, I don't know if this guy was real in the first place.
Man, there was a guy who got signed somewhere in England by calling up like teams and convincing them that he was like Pele's cousin, and they like gave him a trial and stuff. So absolutely.
I had a friend that did that back in the day up in Oxford, Ohio, that we walked around and were convincing everyone he was Ben Roethlisberger's little brother doing a visit for his official recruiting visit.
Oh man, that would work. That would work. Everybody would be so ready to believe.
Yeah, right. Like I was like, oh yeah, the promised land is coming back.
Oh, God.
Like we got to figure out how can we get in on this grift? There's got to be a way that we can create some sort of a player to sell abroad and steal money from some club somewhere in like, you know, like Southeast Asia or the a former Soviet bloc country.
Okay, so a couple of things need to happen. One, we need to
delete this episode immediately.
Well, of course, but
we're just providing evidence to like, you know, Interpol. Does Interpol prosecute this? It feels like it would be something they would be into.
My understanding is it all goes to the Court of Arbitration for Sport.
Right.
I don't know that they have a police force, so I think we're good.
They have a police force, just like it's soccer. Enough money makes the problem go away.
Yes. That is something we got to do, is the episode on the Court of Arbitration for Sport, because they really do sort of run football as much as like a judicial body can be in charge of something, but I don't know anything about them.
Right.
Is it all arbitration clauses and contracts? Is it?
Well, the problem is that as not to speak on with wearing the other hat, but famously, arbitration and court are two very, very different things.
Correct. Like, not to mention
that was like there was an episode of The Simpsons one time where they did a cut to an episode or to a clip from a movie from the McBain series. And he says he's under attack by commie Nazis. And I'm like, you know, if you know your history, these are two groups of people that famously did not get along in terms of ideologically.
We're not chill.
Right.
But you also have like different international bodies and countries being involved. So I don't know that like a ruling on a Peruvian player playing for a team in the French league, but in Monaco, like who has jurisdiction here? What is happening?
Right. There's obviously some sort of a long arm statute we're going to need to read and do more research on.
Yeah. I don't know. And maybe it has like backing from the EU or something. Like maybe there is like an official government behind it at some point, but man, I know nothing.
Do each of the individual FIFA confederations get to appoint like a justice to the Court of Arbitration in Sport?
Possibly.
Or does like did Sepp Blatter pack the court before he left with a bunch of like, you know, hardliners, pro-bribery hardliners?
Again, I'm shooting from the hip here. I could Google, but I refuse. I think they have also weighed in on like Olympic sports and like cycling events and stuff. So
yeah. Justice Alexi Lawless writing for the majority.
Yeah, can we get an American on the FIFA Supreme Council, and then that lets us appoint 5 new judges to the
Chief
court?
Justice John Harkes.
He's justice for life. Okay, that's how that works.
Somehow, like Chuck Blazer is still there. He's alive in this other like weird timeline.
Actually, Sunil Gulati is probably a judge on the Court of Arbitration for Sport.
We should nominate Jeff Birding for that. That would be awesome.
That's a good retirement gig.
That is a good gig. That's That's the plan. We need to get Birding. We need to get Birding appointed to the Court of Arbitration for Sport.
Now, screw the fake player transfer. Now we've got a bigger.
We got to pack
fry.
the court now. This is way more exciting. And remember, if you control the court, I don't need to tell you what happens next. You can just look around you. I think.
Yeah,
just I don't care where you look. Just look somewhere.
I'd say open up a newspaper, but that is increasingly difficult.
Which again,
look around.
Look around the court.
Jesus Christ.
We're gonna pack the court for arbitration in sport, and we're gonna declare GAM unconstitutional.
What is it, the John Hark Society then? Is that what we're creating? Like
Right.
a John Birch Society, or the what's the
Federalist Society?
The Federalist Society. So
yeah.
we need a soccer term for that though.
Well, there was the pro-relists and the anti-pro-relists. So there's the Federalists and the anti-Federalists.
It's the
single entity society.
The single entity society. Yes. Yeah. My mind was trying to make unrelegatables work, but it was a little too mouthy.
Never apologize. Never apologize for being unrelegatable. I think I did a War Pig scarf. I think Springsteen did one that had like the unrelegatables on the side of it. Like it was like written on the side of the airplane after we won the wooden spoon.
So good.
I thought that was chef's kiss. No notes on that one.
Promoted t-shirts and unrelegatable. Making everybody happy.
This is what you get from us for $2 a month for Patreon when there's no games happening this week. We decide we're going to try and scam other soccer clubs out of money to by selling fake players, and then jump from that to packing the court system so we can't be prosecuted afterwards.
Correct.
Yeah, no, crime. Crime is fun.
Chief, I got to ask you.
Yes.
Speaking of Patreon, have you made any progress on the bucket list?
I've accomplished several items so far.
Okay.
I am in the process of working on all of my Seven Hills photos. So
nice.
we're on pace for that.
I
may have put a couple notches on the Coney ledger as well.
Nice.
You know, we're going for that. Not great at the same time. I'm trying to make up for some of the poor decisions I made to my body over the weekend, seeing Oasis in Chicago. Badly timed on that front. We're okay. We're going to power through on that. And we've got some things in the works this weekend to knock a few of these items off. So
yeah,
you know what? Somebody suggested in the Discord,
please,
that this should be a prelude to having or offering an official Cincy Post Cincinnati passport or Cincinnati checklist. That
yes,
you get the passport, you check off everything, and then when you return your passport, you get like a T-shirt or something like that. And I love this idea. I love the idea of promoting our city beyond the 5 items that they used to show on Jim Day's day off during the Reds game. Like there's more to the city than that.
He went to the zoo again.
Let's look at that. I walked around Covington and went to the Hofbräu House. I stood on a table and had a pint when no one else was around because we filmed this at 1 PM. It's God love them. But I thought that when that idea popped up on the Discord, I was like, there's a there for this, I would say.
I love that and am all in, because my first thought was, so I put together the little PDF to help folks out, and then my first thought was like,
and where can people find the PDF, Kevin, if they're so inclined?
Oh, if you want to play along, folks, Cincinnati Bucket List Challenge. We are doing it. It's not 1 week. It is 2 weeks.
2
just
weeks.
To be clear. So it is through the international break, not this coming Sunday, but the next Sunday is the deadline when we record, which, let's say 9 PM. If you do something after 9 PM next Sunday, that doesn't count. Okay, it's too late.
But you still may have experienced the city in your own way. You just don't get points for it.
Yeah, no. like if you see like a concert after 9 p.m. on Sunday, you still get to like hear the music.
Yeah, like you can still enjoy the concert. I think you'll still have a good time.
But you will get no points, okay? But no, you can find this on the Discord. If you have not joined our Discord server, you should. Chief, there's a lot of people on the Discord server. I don't know if
there's too many people on the Discord.
We may have to start purging.
Yeah, there might be too many people on the Discord.
There's almost 800 people in the Discord server, which is really great. I like it. It's nice. So you can join for free. This is not behind the Patreon. This is not, a paid thing. You can show up for free and hang out and talk with, some reasonably informed FC Cincinnati fans.
And then the host of this show, too, in addition to those reasonably informed fans.
Yeah, and then a couple of unhinged folks who do a podcast. And it's a good time. There's different channels. People are in there talking other sports, soccer, Cincinnati stuff. And yeah, in the announcements channel, I put the PDF there. If you print it out, you can print it out double-sided. It should fold into a brochure. That's what I was trying to go for there. Hopefully that worked. And you can play along. It's got the activities broken down into different categories and how many points they are worth. And it's a good time. I posted on social media. I had a 13-point evening, and it was a great time. Just took my son around to a couple of different spots in the city. It was a blast. We had a ton of fun. So
yeah, there's a couple on here that I'd already highlighted, and I am very excited to force my wife to accompany me to along with.
I mean, I don't want to like spoil too much of this, but I gotta say, we went to one of the hills. And I was familiar with this park. I've been there before. It is barely a park, right? It's a little patch of grass. But we show up there. There is a Trinidadian food truck outside.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's an electronic artist doing retro beats, and they had 4 full-size arcade cabinets hooked up to a generator on free play mode, and people were just having the time of their life, dancing, listening to music, playing arcade games. That was so fun. I would have never have done that if not for this challenge, like just showing up there on a random Wednesday evening. And it was a blast. It was so much fun. So far, very good. I already checked out a coffee shop I've never been to as well. We're having a great time over here.
Haven't joined a cult?
Not yet.
Not at the coffee shop, at least, right?
No.
Okay, so I know which coffee shop you didn't visit. So that's the important part.
No.
I'm definitely going to that coffee shop.
Man, I will give you 5 bonus points now if you come away with literature about the organization.
So I walk in there, like get a cup of coffee, be like, yeah, I just don't know about my life these days.
You got to drop all the hints.
Right. It's like,
really,
man.
Really at the end of my rope, you're just looking around.
I asked for iced coffee with a splash of half and half, and there's too much half and half, but it doesn't matter. My life just isn't. That's just the way things have been going for me lately. I'm in a pretty vulnerable state, and it would be a shame if someone tried to recruit me into their organization.
I'm really viewing life as glass of half and half empty.
It's like it's half and half empty and half empty. I can't. Both halves are empty, and if there was only someone here willing to offer me the ability to take decision-making authority for me, my life, and my finances out of my hands, I would sure be receptive to that. For points in this contest I'm doing for my podcast. The most shameful part of that interaction would be admitting it was for a podcast. Like everything else I'm comfortable doing, like telling a random stranger I do a podcast would be more mortifying than attempting to shame my way into be recruited into a cult.
I don't know what sitcom it would be, but that's a really good sitcom episode of somebody like getting too far into a cult because they're too ashamed to say that they were doing it for a bit. For a bit,
yeah. No, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? Lord Xenu is a problem. Like we really need to talk about this more often.
This is all for a bit, but like I'll be back next Sunday.
Yeah, you know what? They are watching you and they are listening to you and they are coming back.
No, my coffee
the
shop.
Elohim shall return.
My coffee shop was covered in candy canes. So there you go. That'll be my hint for folks. So
there we go.
But yeah, no, it's going well. I like this. We should say Grayson is technically participating in this.
Abroad.
I'll just say he's gonna lose. Okay?
He is very abroad, and it is very difficult to do a Cincinnati bucket list challenge in, you know, the Cincinnati of a different continent, if you will.
I tried to look up if any of the cities near him were one of the hundreds of cities that claim to be a city founded on 7 hills. There is not. He's somehow not near one.
Do we have any sister cities nearby? I think there's like, I always loved the idea of sister cities. Oh, that's our sister city over there. How many sister cities do we have around the world?
Great question. I think we have like 7. One of them's in Ukraine and has been for a long time.
Is it still in Ukraine?
It was in Ukraine. Sister cities. The sister cities of Cincinnati are Amman, Jordan.
Sure.
Gifu, Japan.
All right.
Harare, Zimbabwe.
Cool.
Kharkiv, Ukraine. That's the one I'm a little worried about.
Yeah.
What region of Ukraine are we? Oh, no, it may not be there. Oh, no.
Is that like the Crimea right there?
Oh, no, it's like on the northwestern border of Ukraine and Russia.
I've always wanted a sister city in Russia. That's great.
I think we got one.
Okay, cool.
Lijiao, China? Is how I'm going to choose to pronounce it. Munich, Germany. There's the one everybody knows.
There we go.
So in English.
# German heritage.
This very obviously says Mysore, Mysore. There's no way that is how you pronounce it.
It's called
India.
herpes, I think. Oh.
India, though. Oh, no, this is a bad omen. Nancy, France.
My God, that explains everything.
Oh, no.
We need AFTAB to revoke their sister city status. That's why he keeps owning us.
This is killing us. I swear to God, if Columbus has a sister city called Noonan. I'm going to lose it. And then finally, New Taipei, Taiwan. So there you go. New Taipei City.
So we're really neglecting South America and Australia in terms of our sister city locations here. We are problematic, I think. Can you propose a new sister city relationship? Like, how does this work? Like, do you have to do you swipe right on some sort of an app for like picking a sister? Like West Virginia Tinder, you swipe and find a sister on there or something.
I love this. Okay, hang on. Wait, why is this Oh no, that website was going to give me a
Oh yeah, you type in sister city, you're gonna have to put your ID and check that you don't want the cookies being sent to you.
It was immediately like,
stepsister city.
Trust this?
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm annoyed at whoever is editing our Wikipedia page because Columbus has the years they became sister cities. We do not.
Oh, so it could be some Johnny come lately action right here. I think we need to propose, like, in addition to trying to get Jeff Birding on the Court of Arbitration in Sport, I think we need to propose a new sister city relationship for Cincinnati. Something that's based on soccer. Like,
I mean, where's Heart of Oaks? Heart of Oak in Ghana, right?
I mean, this is the kind of thing where if Lucho wouldn't have gone bananas, where's he from? Like, what's his hometown?
Oh, what is his hometown? Was his first club Estudiantes?
But like, wouldn't that be cool if we're cementing the relationship between this club legend's hometown and our hometown by becoming officially sister cities?
Buenos Aires.
Oh,
but why not? I'm sure they have.
There's a million. I'm sure he's from the Norwood of Buenos Aires, right? There's
That's a really good point.
There's another place around there that I'm sure we could become sister cities with.
Personal life. His entire personal life is he holds a green card.
Yeah. And a grudge, apparently.
He's got nothing to his name except a green card.
A green card and a grudge. This Sunday, live on pay-per-view, Lucho Acosta versus The World. The World wins easily.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so we need to, in addition to all that, we need to think of a new sister city for the city of Cincinnati, because however long it's been since we added a sister city, it's been too long. And you should do this like once every, like if I was a politician, I would add a sister city like once every 2 or 3 years, because it would be an excuse to fly and visit somewhere and the taxpayer's dime to have some sort of
That's a really good point.
Yeah, if we're shockingly, we're adding a sister city in this, lovely beach area of Australia, and I'm going to come and I'll bring some Skyline and some Montgomery and ribs and some Rheingeist beer. They're going to give me Foster's and some kangaroo steak. But either way, I get like an all expense paid trip to like the beach. That's kind of cool.
Capital of Fiji, just real quick here. Suva, come on down.
Come on down. You're up next, baby.
Here's one for you. Dare I offer up a serious suggestion? Esmeralda's, Ecuador, the birthplace of Marco Angulo.
Ooh,
there you go. That's a nice addition. Is that
a nice segue into the Brenner interview that dropped from Laurel Pfahler right there? Is that where we were going with this?
It sure is.
There we go. All right, we got to talk some FC Cincinnati news now that we're like, 25 minutes into the recording, 30 minutes into the recording? Sure, why not? If you've stuck with us this long.
Yeah, we've successfully eliminated all listeners. Now let's talk to FCC.
Now we're just talking to the 12s right now. Like we're talking to maybe the 5s right now. It's a small-sided game this week.
We're only talking to the people that cannot reach the stop button on whatever they are playing this on.
Skip forward to something else. It's better, more valuable use of your time.
But no, great story from Laurel Pfahler in Queen City Press, posted on Wednesday. That is today when we are recording.
Go subscribe if you haven't already.
Yes,
Support journalism that covers this team.
Yeah, one of the only remaining voices covering the team. But it's a really good story. I really liked this though. I'm very happy to be back, but I'm just gonna read directly from her story. Not the whole thing, which to be clear, you got to go do yourself. But I like this little bit. Brenner said, as translated from Spanish, which is his second language and one a communications staffer could more easily interpret for media.
I noted that there was a little dig that we still don't have a Portuguese speaker on staff.
There was, but there was also an explanation as to why things were happening there. But yes,
yeah,
that was very funny. That will never appear in anybody else's story. That appears in a Brenner story.
Yeah, just Brenner. But that's all part of the Brenner lore. And like, if Brenner is truly a character, much like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe or one of your, pick your Japanese role-playing game series where it rewards the eagle-eyed reader / viewer in terms of spotting little Easter eggs along the way.
God, that is like every Star Wars Disney Plus TV show.
Yes.
Like, oh, they said the name in the background. Right. I know that name.
Oh, that's a Gungan skull in his shop.
To bring people into the lore, if they're not familiar, the first time Brenner was here, there was a strong criticism of the club from sources around the club that said that the club never got him a Portuguese interpreter, and so he was he was kind of stuck on an island as far as language was concerned. Which
I don't believe was ever truly reported by any.
Yeah, that is true.
Reputable sources. And like you hear enough of it and it was like, okay, well, they had somebody that was on staff that could translate, and your mileage may vary as to whether that was a team employee, there was an intern, it was somebody they brought in from one of the local universities. Either way, like there was this idea at the time that the manager, he came in when Yop was still the manager, that Yop would be sitting there talking and that Brenner would just be sitting there, but he would be hearing the sound of like Peanuts adults talking, like wah, wah, wah. Like that was never the case. Like,
right.
Like you play international soccer for any length of time, like it is for most of these teams, you've got to be able to speak like there's like 30 languages or 10 languages on the team. Everybody sort of figures it out by, you may understand a little bit of Spanish or a little bit of English, and that language is close enough to this one that you get the general gist on things. Plus, it was Yap Stam. There were no tactics anyway. So
yeah, there was nothing to communicate.
There was no game plan other than you people are scum and wouldn't last a minute in the league that I played in.
I also, just to finish this one paragraph, so he said, I'm very happy to be back. I am here today, first of all, thanks to Jeff Birding, because he made the effort for me to come here. So I'm very happy and thank him very much. The Jeff Birding redemption story is my favorite story in all of sports.
Yeah, what's funny, though, is that in this story, it's all the while Brenner and his representatives had stayed in contact with Birding.
Yeah.
So like that was because I think that when you read through this and you put together everything that's said here with everything else that we know about the situation, and they go into a little bit here with how things ended with Brenner's time here in Cincinnati. It sounds like things ended incredibly toxically with Chris Albright.
Yeah. And
there was probably only one person in the club that would pick the phone up for Brenner or his agent. But it sounds like it sounds legitimately like Birding and Brenner kind of stayed in touch with, hey, I understand it's business, best of luck. And that's kind of the owner's role, or like the, co-owner or whatever, title you want to apply to Birding. It's like, yeah, he's supposed to view this as a business. That's the whole deal. The sporting director is supposed to be the person who is making the hard decisions and having the hard conversations with the players. And the owner's role, if it's anything, is just to, hey, it's business, but I still wish you well personally, like that sort of stuff.
What's funny? There was certainly criticism of it when in 2019, but this is where having a politician in the office is useful, because the politician is never going to see a $10 million striker leave and say, no, we got to burn that bridge.
Yeah.
No, you got to keep that man in your circle as much as you can.
Well, this was the first article in a while that really made me like stop and think. It is a weird sort of advantage, as bad as it was in the moment. And it was bad. There is a stupid, weird, like, yeah, this kind of was awful, but it's an interesting little quirk that there's not a lot of teams that have a person in ownership that actually ran the club at any point.
That's a good point.
And like, well, hear me out on this, because like that goes so wrong so often. You think of like Mike Brown, you think of Jerry Jones, you think of FC Cincinnati in 2019.
Yeah.
But that's only because like Mike Brown and Jerry Jones are still running their teams.
Right.
But
they're doing it without success. If Jerry Jones was winning a Super Bowl every 5 years, nobody would give a shit.
As opposed to like trading Micah Parsons for pennies on the dollar because he just won't negotiate with an agent because he's a psycho. But the idea that like Birding did this for a little bit, just long enough to know that this was a terrible idea and, kind of screw things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And, like he wasn't doing it by himself. Like Luke Sassano was in charge of a lot of stuff, and Alan Koch, unfortunately, in charge of a lot of stuff as well. Yeah. But it is a weird thing to have in your ownership group someone that actually does have a little bit of experience and knows a little bit about what this process entails and can actually, not speak with authority on the matter, but at least understand a little bit beyond just I sign a check and occasionally I have to meet with the general manager to fire them, like that sort of stuff.
Right.
I don't know, like that.
Yeah.
This made me pause a little bit. Where it was like, oh yeah, that is kind of interesting that like, yeah, he is an owner, the rare owner that probably knows how to talk to an agent or knows like how to keep a relationship like that alive, but professional, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. It is funny how like, I was thinking about this too, of like, when there is like a good general manager, not unlike Philadelphia, right? Ernst Tanner was considered one of the best, is still considered one of the best in the league. And so it's sort of assumed that the people in and around his office are gaining experience and will otherwise be good and qualified at taking the next step, like Chris Albright and was it Kyle McCarthy is the other one that came over, but like. And it's funny when you think of like Jeff Berding is like, nope, he can't learn anything. Like, nope, there's nothing he can actually gain by being in these conversations, talking with Chris, negotiating with these agents. Nope. No,
it was all bad. And it was very bad, but like silver lining right here. And then it sounds like from Laurel's reporting, which again, you should absolutely go read, that Brenner reached out with the olive branch to Albright.
Yeah.
And that happened last year before any like talk of a return ended up happening. I don't know. Like I came away from this story, like everyone said Brenner had matured. Mm-hmm. And you had to know that they wouldn't have brought him back if there hadn't been some maturation, given how badly they seem to leave things.
Yeah.
But I came away from this story like a little impressed with like Brenner growing up a little. And it makes a lot of sense. He was 22. He had been, people had told him he was great his entire life, probably going back to when he was, 11 or 12 years old. Yeah. There's tremendous pressure on all those, all these players to make it big, to make it over to Europe. To get your bag before you get too old that they stop looking at you, especially South American players where there's sort of an age limit on how much you're going to be considered.
And he was playing with the Brazilian youth national team, man. Like that pipeline is a pipeline that for a lot of guys leads to millions of dollars in playing on the biggest stages. So absolutely had every right to think he was off in that direction.
And then not only that too, it's like, I think we talked about this on the episode where we brought him back. It's like, dude, I was a shithead at 22.
Yeah, right.
I'm still a shithead, but like at 22, heinously so. And that was being an unimpressive, dude that was barely out of college, that hadn't accomplished anything with my life. Like, if I was a pro soccer player,
nobody's paying me $3 million or whatever he was making, $2 million to do anything at that age.
There wasn't a soul on the planet that was like, I look at that guy, $10 million just for the right to negotiate with him for a deal. It's like nobody was doing that.
Right.
Like the fact that he emerged from that and wasn't, referring to himself in the third person like The Rock, like that's unbelievable.
I mean, the Udinese experience will absolutely humble you, that like you have it in your mind that like go to Europe. And this is something that U.S. men's national team fans always do. Go to Europe. Well, Udinese isn't exactly Juventus or Arsenal or anything like that. And the second you encounter some moment of hesitation, a little injury, and you are immediately replaced. And there is nothing that they will do to help you get back. You've got to do it basically on your own. I mean, not to say like you can't use club facilities, but like you've got to prove it. You got to do it. And you are even further removed from your support network and everything. That's tough. And I'm sure there's a moment where he's sitting there, he's not playing for like 6 months going, man, I had a lot of fun in Cincy and I was playing and they like treated me really nice and paid me really nice. And I really screwed that up. Like, oh man, that's going to weigh on you.
There's so much good in this story. I just want to highlight a couple other parts that
please.
I loved on this. He says, but there were also this is about like the process of getting signed. The window was closing when I was about to wake up. So I was starting to sleep. I didn't know the answer. But with God's grace, everything went well. And I signed the contract at the last minute. But there were some financial issues because the league wouldn't approve the contract. And I had to leave some money behind to make it work. But I talked to my mom and I told her I was following my heart. The CEO, referring to Jeff Berding, helped me a lot to know that this is a place that would help me. So I didn't think about it. And I just wanted to come. Like,
oh.
And then this part also, This is Brenner again talking. Before leaving in my last game, I felt a great emotion because they greeted my name and my mom and my family at home. They were all very happy about it, Brenner said. The fans are people who are always in my heart. In one of my conversations with Jeff, I told him I really wanted to go back to TQL to feel the feeling of the fans, and it was amazing. I have said this before, and Damon brought this up today online. All I want out of my athletes that I root for is to make me believe the lie that this matters to you as much as it matters to me. And that right there, that has me believe in all sorts of lies right there, because that is cool.
Yeah. Like, if you're a fan of this team, I don't know how you can hear that and not feel like some serious hometown pride. That like what we have here in Cincinnati is special. And I know every single fan base tells them that, it tells themselves that, and that's fine. But like, this guy took less money to leave his dream of going to Europe, partially to go back and experience what it's like to play for the fans at TQL Stadium. And again, if he's lying, that's fine. I have to accept this at face value. And that is super cool that like that happens and that exists. And yeah, I don't know, man. Like this is really cool. Also going back to the initial segue, the Marco Angulo comment, he picked number 8 in honor of 2 of his friends who wore it previously. This is in the story. I'll spoil one good story. Sorry, Laurel. This is proof that people should be paying for your stuff. He wore it for Alan Cruz, who he described as somebody who sort of mentored him and helped him when he got here. And then, of course, Marco Angulo, who passed away. So yeah, that was really nice. That was really sweet.
Yeah, that was really cool. And I don't know what else to say, man. I was rooting for Brenner just as an FC Cincinnati fan, because I think that in order for this team to salvage something out of this year and potentially go on the kind of run that would pick up a trophy in MLS Cup, he would have to play well. I'm rooting for him as a person now a little bit too. Like I want this to work for him. And I want this to be something where even if this doesn't result in him staying with this team long term, that it leads to him continuing his professional career and achieving what he wants out of it. Because that's a cool thing to come back and do and come back and say. And just the way that this has been handled is neat. And it was a cool, needed bit of pride after the results hadn't been tremendous over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Throw in there too that he said he wanted to stick around for 3 to 5 years, which is like
sure.
Perfect soccer answer.
Yeah. And I respect the honesty of, I don't want to spend my entire career here. 3 to 5 years and I'm good.
3 to 5 years. I'm going to give you guys my best years, to be clear.
Yeah. This is my prime. Like, don't get it twisted, but I ain't planning on buying a house. So
I just love the idea of like, an NFL player gets drafted. Man, I can't wait to spend 6 years with this franchise. You're like, wait, whoa.
I'm so excited to be drafted by the Cleveland Browns. You know, this is a great football town. I understand it's been a lot of hard years, and we're going to change that over the 3 to 5 years I plan to stay with this club before I get the hell out.
I believe I become a restricted free agent in 3, so.
Right. Ellie De La Cruz learns this one simple trick.
He may not know much English, but he learned free agent very quickly.
He speaks a lot of English. He doesn't speak home runs lately, but he speaks a lot of English.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Chief, here's some stuff that you maybe wouldn't love so much. Chris Albright was also able to talk to the media.
No, I always like, don't get it twisted. I love any time we hear from Chris Albright. I think that he is a tremendous communicator, and I've said it on this show before that he should do more media because he is very good at it.
Oh, I don't mean you'll be upset by him talking to the media. I think there's a comment here that we could he's a part. I think if Grayson were here, he'd really lawyer the shit out of this thing. So
Yeah.
I'm going to lean on you a little bit here.
As we want to do.
So here's the question from Laurel. I'm assuming it was Laurel that asked this because Laurel posted this transcript and then his response. So the question was, or the comment, the question is, it's been a little bit of a rough patch now with 3 straight home losses. And the second straight season, we've seen a little bit of the drop towards the end of the season. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit here. If it doesn't get turned around, what are the ramifications? Is there pressure on Pat, for example, to get it done this year? People are asking, Chief, I feel partially responsible for this question. Lots of other people have been calling for Pat to be fired from like day one, but whatever.
Right.
There's always an irrational part of the fan base, but there's a sentiment for sure. So this was Albright's response. There's pressure on all of us. I mean, what does get it done mean? I don't really know what that means. Obviously, we're in it to win something, right? Pat is a coach of the year for a reason, and he's an excellent coach, and he's the right guy to lead us now and in the future. Be sure, but we put the pressure on ourselves. It's not good, and it's not good enough right now. I mean, Pat said as much in his press conference the other night. We've set expectations high enough that this is not the level we should be performing at. We know that. We have a couple of weeks to address it and continue to sort of acclimate these players into the team. Look, unfortunately, the last couple of seasons, for whatever reason, we've been missing key pieces as well. So you can't not mention that we didn't play with Miles and Obi the other night. Those aren't excuses. That's just reality. Those are foundational pieces in what we do. Last year was Matt. The year before it was Matt and Obi. So it's hard to overcome these things. And again, in a cap league where those guys make up an amount of the salary cap, you're depending on them for X reason. That being said, no, look, we put the pressure on ourselves and we welcome that. So Chief, if you ever feel bad for a take, just know
I don't.
It is welcomed.
Yeah, no, you're welcome for giving you this thing that you want.
Yeah, we don't have to, but
yeah,
we do because we love you.
Right. I've never asked for a thank you. I've never asked for a thank you, and I never will. So, but I'm here for everyone, including Chris and Pat and the entire staff right here. Where do you want to begin on this statement?
The thing that jumps out at me, and I think you mentioned this on social media, and I had a similar thought, which is, I don't know that Obi and Miles is the problem.
No, I that was the first thing that I saw too, where it's my man, Chris. If I can call you that on a first name basis, I think we're cool like that at this point. The issue is goal scoring. The issue is chance creation. The issue is XG or lack thereof. This is everything we are seeing right now with this team is the alarm bells have been ringing on this since very early in the year, that this team does not create high scoring chances.
Yep.
And that they were relying in large part on Evander being incredible at outperforming his XG and scoring from low percentage opportunities by sheer force of talent and will. And water finds its level. Yeah. And, you can't expect Evander to keep making low percentage shots. Like you can keep taking shots from the half court line. And even if you got Steph Curry, he's going to make a few of those.
Yeah.
But that's not an offense. Like you got to get better shots. You got to get better shot creation, shot making. And so all of those things, those aren't the things that Matt Miaz or that Miles Robinson and Obi help out with. Now, I'm open to the take, and I'm open to the idea of, well, Miles has so much better coverage ability and it frees other players to play in different positions where now, because they aren't as fast and they're relying on slower players, that it changes how the defensive shape has to be. And Obi is a better player than Brian Anunga. And therefore, because of that, it allows other players to play more advanced. But it's also ignoring the possibility that when all those guys were on the field, this was still an XG challenge team. And this was still a team that had a difficult time generating good goal scoring opportunities. So you have a player like Obi who I like, and I think it's a big part of what this team does, but it's on the defensive side. He's not a guy that's helping you score goals. Miles Robinson is not a guy that's helping you score goals. The problem on this team is this team doesn't score enough goals. And it's especially magnified when you keep adding attacking talent and the goal totals don't go up. You've got Brenner, and you've got Evander, and you've got Kevin Denke, and you've got Luca Orishano, and you've got all these pieces. This team should not be struggling to score 2 to 3 goals a game. This team should be a high-powered offense. And that is the issue right here, that if anything is going to cost people jobs, it's the inability to score goals, not the inability to defend.
100%. So the other thing that then jumps out at me is the pointing out that with the salary cap league, that, you know, when you lose a couple of key contributors or high percentage cap guys, that is necessarily going to make your team worse. And agreed, totally agree. I think a great example of this is the LA Galaxy. They lost Ricky
Puig.
Puig. I keep wanting to say Puig because of
Yasiel.
Yes,
it's Puig.
Excuse me. I got to recalibrate my other Spanish here for a second. Ricky Puig is out for the season, but they never use the season-ending injury designation to get that cap space back. You know, bring in another designated player. Yes, that causes more problems down the line, but maybe they're not winning the spoon if that's the case. But here's the thing:
they're making CONCACAF Champions League now.
They are. So maybe there's something to it.
Maybe they knew what they were doing here.
But you can't. I don't think you get to cry poor when you have Teenage Hanavi and Sergio Santos and Corey Baird on your roster for as long as they were. I understand 2 of those guys are no longer here, but pretty late in the game to ditch them when you still haven't used your second buyout, to my knowledge. Or did they buy out the other portion of Yedlin's thing? I don't know exactly.
If they have, it has not been announced yet.
Okay.
So as best we have information for, they do have another buyout that they could have used at any point.
Could have bought out Teenage Hanabi.
Here are the things they could have done so far to generate more cap space, to have a replacement on the roster that is better than Brian Anunga in the midfield.
Okay.
They could have bought out Teenage Hanabi at any point. They don't want to play him. He's making nearly $1 million. You could have bought him out. Yeah.
To be clear, I don't think buying out Teenage is a good idea, but like, if you're not gonna play him, there's no point.
Right. If you're not going to play Teenage Hanabi, he is functionally the same as a supplemental roster guy or a homegrown from the FCC2. They both can take up space on the bench as much as the next guy. You could have bought out Sergio Santos well before now. Now it sounds like the Santos buyout and the Yedlin trade are what is enabling Brenner to be here right now. So, you know, your mileage may vary on that as to where that was needed. But at any point, Sergio Santos could have been bought out on this team. Yeah. You could have put Obi on season-ending injury. They are convinced Obi is going to be back by October 1st. I guess we'll see. But what kind of Obi will be back on October 1st? And will that be useful to the team in the playoffs? I don't know. We'll have to see if that ends up being a good bet. But at any point, they could have put him on season-ending injury and used that money to pay for a replacement who you know will be here and will be available in October and for the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe Samuel Guidi would have been here by now.
Or a better player could have been here.
Right.
That didn't have availability issues where we're still waiting on him. You could have put Yuya Kubo on season-ending injury. I think at this point, he was off training to the side again this week. I'd say it's even money whether we see Yuya Kubo play again this year. I just don't know what's going on. It seems like It seems like he has been hurt like since jump this season. I think I would be shocked if Yuya Kubo has played more than 200 minutes this year. Maybe he has. I would be shocked.
Yeah.
You could have at any point sent out someone like Gilberto Flores on loan. If you're not going to play him, you could have freed up another U22 spot earlier in order to bring in somebody else. All those U22 spots we filled this window could have been filled earlier. We could have signed someone in May and had them ready and lined up to come in the transfer window on day one. to offer an opportunity for another midfielder. I'm just saying there are so many options for things they could have done on this team to get rid of players who they are either not playing or aren't playing because of health issues that would have solved this problem. So I don't buy the cap issue on this because it's a choice they've made to play with this roster.
Yeah. Yeah. And so all of that, and then I'll just throw it out there that if the entire plan was built around Obi, and Obi can't miss any time, and he has been at this point a relatively injury-prone player, maybe not a great plan, Gal. Right. Maybe don't do that.
I mean, the plan this year, legitimately, was that Obi and Buka can't get hurt. Because they right now, even right now, they do not have a backup plan for Pavel Buka wearing down or being hurt.
Oh my God.
That was the plan this year, was that these two guys cannot get hurt.
Or miss any time whatsoever, because we don't really have a replacement.
And so now we're seeing what that looks like. So I understand in theory, all of what he's saying. I understand in theory that yes, having a full roster probably allows you to do different things that you can't do right now. And yes, that you are limited by salary cap choices. I just don't. I think that one of those was a solvable problem and the other one doesn't solve the problem. So,
yeah.
But I appreciate him getting out there and putting his take out there. Like, I appreciate that. He's riding with Pat Noonan. Now, he'll never say anything publicly that if Noonan doesn't win a trophy or if we get dumped out of the playoffs, his job is on the line. Like, he's never going to say that. But I appreciate him taking the question, and I appreciate the question being asked.
Yeah, I love that the question was asked. I will help clarify for Mr. Albright. Get it done in this case means win a trophy.
Win a trophy. Yeah,
that's just want some silverware.
we want to win a trophy. Everything else is nothing else matters. And I also get that is probably incredibly frustrating for people that are professionals at this, because there is only one team that wins Shield, and there's only one team that wins MLS Cup, and sometimes in rare circumstances it's only one team that wins those two trophies combined. Right. And every other team is going home disappointed, and their fans are mad and wondering why it's not them. There are a lot of, you can pick any sport you want, like the Buffalo Bills, the Philadelphia 76ers recently. Like, there are teams where, for whatever reason, they're bridesmaids and never the bride when it comes to having successful seasons, never quite winning a trophy. That doesn't mean the teams suck. Right. It doesn't mean the people that are involved in building the teams are bad at their jobs. It's just that the one job they have, they are not succeeding at.
Right. Which is, I think, fair for fans to be frustrated at, and fair for that front office to be frustrated at that frustration. Which is like, at the end of the day, you're adjusting the odds on outcomes. It's like a good GM increases the odds of winning a trophy. A good coach increases the odds on winning a trophy. Good players increase the odds, but they can never guarantee it. Like, there's never a point where you say, oh, we've done everything right, we get the trophy now. Right. And that is the maddening part of all of this.
Yeah, there is, especially in this league, there is simply no way to over level yourself and beat the boss. Like, it just can't happen. And I get why that probably pisses Chris Albright off, this trophy or bust mentality, because what they'll tell you, and this is what people in sports always tell you, all I can tell you is I can get you to the playoffs. Beyond that, it's luck. Yeah. It's a crapshoot. And I hate hearing that as a fan. I hate that.
Yes.
Because, like, no, it's not, because if it was luck, then Tom Brady wouldn't have 7 Super Bowl rings. All right. There's something you can do to make this work. Try the TB12 method, for the love of Christ.
Right. Like, that is the annoying thing, is that there's a handful of outliers that, like, do just enough to disprove what should be an incredibly common conception of how playoffs work.
Right. So I get it. But you have to ask the question.
Yeah, you do. And I appreciate it. But I will say, though, if anybody is frustrated with the team form, that should give you hope, because the best team doesn't always win. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's all I need.
Except this year it will. Like, it's going to be like, oh, the best team never wins MLS Cup. Except the year that we're not the best team. Then the best team wins.
Right.
When we're the best team, the best team doesn't win. But when
no,
it's never. Just except in Cincinnati, it's never your turn.
Ah, man. Damn. Chief, is there anything else FC Cincinnati even Brian Schaefer. I wanted to mention this one. Brian Schaefer sent out on loan from FC Cincinnati to Indy 11. What do we make of the USL loan, and where does that sit in the hierarchy of MLS Next Pro team? Sit on the bench for FCC. Where does loan out to USL Championship team rank?
Well, I think first off, not all USL championship teams are created equal.
I'd agree with that.
So like, I think that going on loan and playing at a top USL championship team. So like, I would say Indy 11, Louisville City, Tampa Bay, New Mexico, Sacramento, El Paso.
Yeah.
Like a team that has good facilities, a team that is well supported, and it's well funded, so that you actually you're not going and training at like, the local Catholic school's weight room and practicing on an AstroTurf field or in a parking lot. If you can find a loan spot like that, and that's tough because those teams are very competitive and their ownerships want to win and they want to spend money to win.
Yeah.
So finding space to play on those teams can be tough sometimes. But if you can do that, I think that's a way better outcome than sitting the bench for FC Cincinnati. And I think it's exponentially better than going through MLS Next Pro too. So Indy 11 makes a lot of sense as a destination for our players, simply because it's so close to Cincinnati. It's easy to monitor what they're doing, easy to get them back if something comes up, and it's a good team. So
yeah,
we're lucky. We've got two good USL teams within driving distance, and I think we should make better use of that at times.
Yeah, even Pittsburgh, if you stretch it out just a little bit.
Building a brand new stadium up there, allegedly. We shall see.
There's some half-decent stadium proposals floating around USL.
It's a good time to be a stadium rendering guy in the USL. Business is booming.
Stadium porn is I'm all about it. All right.
At some point, we should do an episode, like talking about FC Cincinnati's original stadium design, because to go back and look at the renderings of the original FC Cincinnati stadium it's kind of bananas to look at.
There was a grass berm in the original design.
Well, it was also like sunk way below street level too. Like you walked in like the upper concourse or something like that, I think.
Well, right? So there's the original TQL one, but I'm thinking of the neon one that we saw.
Oh yeah, that's the original one. Yeah, the one that the original, like, this will be our stadium if we can get an MLS expansion bid. Yeah,
man, so good. Sean Akoli scissor kicks on all of the columns around the stadium. But never forget the Oakley site had one little render made, so that was fun.
It is a pretty cool stadium. I'm looking at it right now. We got weirdly close to it though, which is kind of like with like the fins.
Yeah. They wanted the fins. I remember they talked about 513 fins originally, and then that talking point slowly disappeared.
Somebody was like, oh, wait, how much is each fin?
You can have a third of those.
Right. I multiply that by 513. No, we're not doing that. No.
Also, I do wonder if the original plan was to completely encircle the stadium. They're like, oh no, the residents do not want an LED billboard in their living room.
Just thinking about like Seinfeld episode with Kenny Rogers roasters just blaring in the window.
Yes, it's literally that.
Kevin, is that about it from us for this episode? One segment.
I think we have somehow squeezed an hour's worth of something onto the recording here. So
yeah, well done. If you want to sponsor us, you'll force us to have more segments. So until then, fuck Columbus.
The Cincy Postcast is a production of The Post Cincy. You can check us out online at thepostcincy.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter and Blue Sky, though, you'll find we're a little more active than the other places. We're also on YouTube, where you can listen to this episode if you aren't listening to it already. We are also putting up video content semi-regularly, including the Away Days series. We want to give a huge thank you to Jim Trace and the Makers for providing the music for this episode. They're a lovely band, and you can find more information out about them in the description of this episode. And if you happen to enjoy what you just heard, can I please ask that you like us, that you rate us on whatever app you're listening to, and maybe more importantly than all of that, share this episode with a friend. When it comes up at work, you're talking about FC Cincinnati, I say, hey, I listened to an FC Cincinnati podcast. I think you guys will like it. It would really, really help us out. Nothing helps a podcast travel more than a good recommendation from a friend, family member. That would be awesome. When it comes to the sorting algorithms that control our lives, a 5-star review would be much appreciated. Also, leaving a sort of written review weirdly does more than that. That's how the algorithms work. So maybe say a nice or a mean thing, whatever. Just as long as you give us 5 stars, that'll really, really, really help us out. And if you are looking for more MLS content, check out our other podcast, The World's Gam. Again, a link will be in the description of this episode. That is where we touch on league-wide storylines and news, and we talk about other games and a couple other teams in there as well. I think you will enjoy it if you are just dipping your toes into Major League Soccer. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors. A even bigger thank you to all of our patrons over at Patreon. But maybe most importantly, thank you for listening to this episode.